What is going on, everybody? I want to welcome all of you guys to an official AMA. On these sessions, normally we invite some of the funded traders on to talk about their experiences with our firm. Dan is one of the funded traders, recently got a payout, recently lost his account, which we're going to talk about as well. But he's definitely one of the more successful people in the program. And he reached out to me because he has a pretty cool story. So maybe Dan, just share, a bit of information and introduce yourself to everybody.
My name's Dan. I'm 32 now and from the UK. Recently, I've not been with the funded trader that long. I first got a 200k. I passed the 200k challenge, and then I had 100k as well, which I combined to make a 300, which unfortunately I lost, but we'll talk about that later on. But so with the 200k, basically, me and my partner, we sort of talked, and we'd saved a bit of money up for part of our wedding, which isn't until August next year, and we kind of worked out the sort of the remaining amount that we needed, which would have been such a mission to try and get together and kind of save. It was a real big ask what we wanted to do with a wedding, but it was kind of possible. But I mean, just having the payout really kind of just took so much stress and the pressure off. But yeah, I think payout, it was five figures, so it was that just literally when that got dropped straight in the account, and yeah, so that was literally just paid off everything, and kind of really I lost the count a little while after. It hadn't. I'm still lucky in a position that I have funding from other companies, so it's not the end of the world. But I mean, but just to be able to achieve that goal that we set is overshadows everything. About losing the count. It's just that's more than what I could have asked for, to be honest. That was the goal that we set out to achieve, and we achieved it. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of, I'm pretty happy, really.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, it's definitely a huge accomplishment for you to actually make it through, to get a payout, to be able to obviously afford to purchase, something for your wedding, to fund the wedding. Obviously, congratulations on that. And really, when you reached out to me, I was definitely excited, for you and for your story, because there's a lot of people that are like you right now that are getting these payouts and that are able to kind of afford some sort of either lifestyle or just pay off bills or stuff like that. Walk us through, how did you actually get into trading, and how long did it take you to find a prop firm?
I basically I stumbled across trading usual way via social media and things like that, and it was kind of, I went down the whole the retail route of the trend lines and stuff like that, and it was kind of a really overwhelming to begin with, because I'm not from a financial background or anything like that, and so I kind of, you learn the easiest way possible to begin with, which is through signals, which isn't learning at all. But learn the hard way, they don't work. So I thought, right, instead of just trying to do the quickest way possible, let's actually invest in some education. So, it worked, and it didn't, I wasn't really seeing much progression as such. So I explored about, and then I kind of come across, the SMC concepts and stuff like that. And it was the fact that made me want to change the strategy I was using. It was because the retail concepts and stuff, they were all right, but hitting not great risk to reward, and it was taking a lot longer to get to a 1 to 3, or one, not even that, 1 to 2 sometimes. And it was just smart money concepts. The appeal was obviously the higher risk to reward. I mean, now I still don't use a stop loss any less than 10 pips. I think that's just me. That's my risk appetite and how I decide to trade, but other people may be different. But yeah, then so when I kind of started seeing a bit of consistency, the next hurdle was then obviously the capital. I mean, I kind of started from looking at FTO and etc. And then I come across, I actually I had, and I do still have, funding from other prop firms, but a couple of good friends of mine, they mentioned yourselves, and I kind of had a look at the what the big appealing thing to me was that, unlike other prop firms, the funded trader, they were always giving away promos. There was always competitions. Not a lot of other prop firms seem to be doing that. So for me, you guys already had the kind of the giving back factor, and I just wanted to explore that in depth more. And I just liked everything from just like, I know you've just updated the dashboard now, and that's really cool. It's just the whole vibe, the Discord, the community there, and I really do feel like the funded trader is up there with the likes of the people like FTMO and stuff like that. I think they're kind of on the level with that, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, for me, I'm all about buying your funding with other prop firms, but for me, my focus now is probably going to be with you guys right now, because I just feel my experience has been best with the funded trader. So that's probably what I'll continue to pursue for the time being.
Yeah, no, I think that, like you said, there really is a lot of prop firms right now, but there's very few that are very credible. For us, I think now that we've been around for pretty much more than a year and a half at this point, definitely is very important, but there's a long way for us to go, in my opinion. There's definitely things right now that we need to improve, and in some of our recent hires and recent developments, we're definitely looking to improve those things. And I know, we have the suggestions channel, and we're always just looking in there and seeing what we can do to change the programs and whatnot. So for you, considering you've been trading with the program, you got paid out, what's just one honest way that TFT can improve, the company, just to take things to like a whole nother level?
I mean, I don't know how much of an impact you can actually have with this, but I mean, the only thing is, when I'm trading, sometimes I mainly focus on EU, but sometimes I do trade commodities, indices, and it's more the FX pairs. The commission obviously is quite high if you're trading the way I trade. So I'm using larger lots, which is probably, it could, maybe if that can be improved a little. But I mean, in regards to the actual company as such, I mean, I can't really suggest anything that would make it better than what it is. I mean, yeah, I don't really know, mate, to be honest. I think it's pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I think that a lot of people have mentioned recently about the commissions, because they're mentioning how, with ACAP, other prop firms, have lower commissions and stuff like that. And we're definitely trying to figure that equation out, how it all works. People have to definitely keep in mind, like, we are, at least from what I understand and what I've been told, the largest prop firm that ACAP works with. So that being said, there's quite a lot that goes on behind the scenes from a commercial standpoint, in regards to what ACAP charges us. And I know, unlike a lot of other prop firms, we actually do live trading. So our model and our system is a bit different. So it's just very much like, per the company, it's even though we're working with ACAP, every single agreement is different, and every prop firm is doing things a little bit differently. And because of the fact that we're choosing to try to create a product that truly does emulate what a real prop firm does, which is you try out for the prop firm and then you trade real money, right? Like, everyone knows that the traditional prop firm model is you pay 10K or something, and then they train you for like 2 years, and then at some point they end up scaling you up and you trade real capital, right? So with TFT, we're really trying to, like, the model everyone really knows with prop firms and even FTMO has really just been, all right, get a bunch of traders to sign up, and there's a failure rate and there's a pass rate, and then there's a certain amount that gets allocated, towards the people who are passing, and yada, yada, yada. Well, with our firm, I feel like I can say that because people just pretty much know this. It's like public information. With our firm, really what we're trying to do is become more of a data company and more of an actual prop firm, where we're finding ways to leverage all of the data that is available to us in the funded groups. And to be honest, I mean, when people take 2 trades, on phase 1 and 2, and they pass, I mean, it's pretty hard to judge if this person is really possible, like really good to put live capital behind them. So I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that, I've talked about in videos previously. And, for the most part, a lot of it is private kind of company information, but I think there's a lot of things going on. I think at the end of the day, what's most important is that we're doing our best to monetize all of the different ways that we can monetize the data, the challenges, everything like that. You guys are doing your best, with the challenges. The market isn't being manipulated, that you're trading in any way. And at the end of the day, it's just about the people getting paid and getting more opportunities made available to them. So I look at the prop firm, like I see a lot of people post in the chat, like that the prop firm industry has really changed Forex and everything like that. And this kind of leads into my next question for you. When you got this payout, what did you kind of tell your partner? What did people around you kind of think about this?
Well, I kind of, the thing was when we were flying out to Spain, I got the trade. I basically reset target with my account. I didn't tell her, and it was kind of like, I think it was about 10 days into the trading month, I think, and I'd kind of reached that point of I knew where I needed to get to, and we were flying out Spain, and I told her out there, because she was literally really stressing about, how are we going to afford the rest of this wedding and stuff like that, and I told her, and like just the reaction from what I got from her was worth that. You know what I mean? It was it was pretty it was a great feeling, not only that for my personal achievement in trading to do something like that, but to relieve the stress off her, and in general was like that was just amazing for me.
Yeah, and I imagine now that you've gotten a payout and actualized, this goal, when you're, obviously recently you lost the account, it's unfortunate, but do you feel, I know a lot of people think like this, do you feel like now that you've gotten a payout, it's changed your life in some way? Does that change the way you approach trading at all? Like, how does that kind of impact the way that you think, your confidence, everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was the longer I'm in. So I've been trading kind of 6 years now, and it's the more that years goes on, the less and less trades I'm taking, and the more patient I am, and it makes me. You kind of mature as a trader as time goes on, and it's like it's just mad how I've just seen my progression over time through there. It's been an up and down journey, like 99% of traders, but it's yeah, it's just been great, really, to be honest.
We got a lot of comments in here. People are saying when they found TFT, they liked the website and the branding and stuff like that. You had said that
Yeah.
what recommended the site to you and everything, and then you checked it out.
Yeah. So it was. I had come across the Fund of Trader before, but you're skeptical, you see, because like there's so much toxicity around forex trading and the prop firms and things that are they legit, are they genuine? But I mean, hand on heart, I've never really. I don't think I've actually heard one bad word about the Fund of Trader. And you see the payouts. I've seen it for myself. That you get paid out when you get paid out. The day, it wasn't a day late or nothing like that. So I can't say a bad word about you guys, to be honest. It's that's the reason why I took the kind of plunge and got a challenge, and it worked out for me, kind of in one way and another. It's not even though I've lost the account. It's certainly it doesn't cast any doubts in my mind that I'll be going for another challenge very very soon.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, because I read everything, right? Like I'm on different Telegram groups. I'm obviously in the Discord. I'm on YouTube,
Yeah,
and there's definitely talk. There's always going to be talk about ways that companies can improve what they're doing. So with TFT, I mean, there's always people that have negative experiences, and then they're voicing them, and for the most part, those are people that simply aren't good with trading or don't have a strategy, I'll say, at that time, and they end up losing for whatever reason. They get, quite frustrated in their process and their situation. They start taking it out on us and everything else. That's what I found. So we're just trying to do our best to hear these people out and monitor things as much as we can. Like there's people that hit us up and they're like, "Oh, I failed the daily drawdown and the dashboard could have showed me this." And it is what it is that you fail at the end of the day. But I think it's
yeah.
always good to hear people out, and we're trying to, like, if there is a way we can improve the dashboard, then we will. And if that will make things easier for you guys, like I know one suggestion that was made recently was to send like a daily report, and I know brokers kind of do this. So we would send an email every day at 5 p.m. for anyone that has an account, and it would just tell you what your summary was from yesterday, maybe what your best trades were, and then what is your daily drawdown calculation. So it's like, what is the draw? Like, just as a reminder, like what level would you actually
Sure.
breach out
Yeah.
with the drawdown? just to make things as clear as possible, because some people, the day turns over, obviously the drawdown shifted for standard and it's the same way it is for royal, but they're calculated a bit differently. And then people, get tagged on trades because of it, so we're just trying to keep
Yeah.
things fair and as transparent as possible. At the end of the day, I think what's been really cool for us is the fact that Blake and myself, we really started trading the prop firms ourselves, and then it turned into us, getting the opportunity to work with, certain people to build the TFT. So it's like, I certainly understand like where everybody's coming from at all times. I think that is what gives us an advantage, and Blake does as well. Like he's constantly learning about what traders want, what traders don't want. At the end of the day, for rules that are changed, like the drawdown for standard, stuff like that, the reason these things are happening is because we're trying to create longevity, at TFT, and we're trying to continue to monetize the data. So if we see something that is something that we can't monitor from a risk perspective, we don't know how to monitor, for example, crypto. We didn't know how to handle cryptos. That's why you can't trade it on the funded. At the end of the day, we're going to make a shift because we want the company to be around for a long time. If the company blows up, then no one gets paid. And so the people that complain about, oh, this change and that change, I mean, end of the day, the opportunity's here. You either kind of take advantage of it or you cry. Like, what do you want to do?
I mean, with the variability, crypto is funny because I don't really kind of dabble with crypto. I mean, it doesn't really have much historical data for me to kind of trade with, and I think if you're given that option to trade it over the weekend, it's just then another lure. Yes, you can make profit, but at the same time, it's another potential scenario you could lose. Take some of your own profit. It's just it's one of them.
Yeah, I wanted to ask like another question. So you obviously, you're trading you said you trade Forex mainly, right? You said you're a USD.
Yeah.
So you're mainly like a Forex trader. Now, I want to get into the strategy a little bit, but not too much. Like, do you base everything on fundamentals? Do you use technical analysis? What's kind of how you make up your strategy?
Yeah, so it's kind of align my technicals with the fundamentals. So I kind of combine a kind of concept with Fibonacci's and like order blocks and order flow, supply and demand, things like that. But I like I'll obviously, so the start of the week, I'll check out the calendar, see where we're looking. Obviously, the first and the second week of each month, I know I'm aware you've got NFP and FOMC and all that. So I kind of I don't not trade them, but I suppress the amount of trades that I do take for sure. I'd certainly I have a lot more success the second half of every month than the first. So yeah, so it's just a combination really of supply and demand, order blocks, things like that. I kind of base, because I have a business, a property maintenance business that I do as well. That takes up a good chunk of my time. So I kind of sort of inherited more of a swing trading kind of style, which it just fits my lifestyle better. So instead of, for me, trying to fight sort of scalping into the lower time frames and trying to hit in like 1 to 10s and stuff like that, I just kind of stay with a swing and go and try and hit a 1 to 7, 1 to 8 risk rewards. But yeah, it's mainly I just take my bias from the high time frame. I very rarely counter trend trades. It's usually pro trend. So I always find just stay with the trend, because you're more likely to get burned at some point.
Yeah, I personally am also a lot more patient right now. I mean, obviously I have a lot going on with the firm and other stuff, but I'm not trading in and out every single day. And I think the best advice I can give to anyone else is to just be patient, like you're saying, wait for your positions. I mean, swing trading, if you're using fundamentals and waiting on the highest time frames, like weekly time frame, maybe executing on the daily 4 hour, it's not going to say it's easy, but you can definitely make money. Like there's definitely a possibility to make money. For myself, I'm about to just deposit into my own account and just do some on the side, just swing trading. I don't have time to be trading like more than a couple times a month, but
Yeah.
there's definitely opportunities there to be in and out of the market. That being said, since it seems like you're a bit of a swing trader, you're looking for these higher risk rewards. How did you gain the confidence to swing, be a swing trader? how do you handle like seeing profits and not closing it out, waiting until it hits your targets? Psychologically, how do you process all this?
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest things, because for so long I concentrated on the monetary value of trading, and you see like the numbers are, especially if you're swinging like with a 10-15 pip stop, and you see price, if you hit it right and it starts to rally, you do really start to question times where maybe I should just cut this and just take what I can. But it's just been a case of compounding those trades over journaling. Over time, you have to kind of see them hitting targets with your own eyes to know that they work. Because if you don't see something happen, you don't believe it. So it's just a case of, so I'll try and get in the position of the best sort of position I can, and then once the swing is sort of commenced, like I'll then try and get in scalings. It will only be with the trend. So I just sort of give my best possible chance of being in multiple trades within the same position, if you see what I mean, and yeah, just try and compound the gain from that swing.
Now, I want to ask you, what was like your best trade and what was kind of your reaction when you closed it out?
Well, unfortunately, it was on a demo, which was my best trade. But kind of my real one is probably 20,000, I think, and it was the thing was it happened so fast. I think it might be last year. It was a CPI data release, I believe, and you know how that moves. And it actually nearly stopped me out, and then it just once that it just wicked down, and then it just rallied like hell, and just went straight to TP within, like, I think it was less than an hour. That was kind of a moment of kind of disbelief, because I could have so easily been out of the trade.
Now, obviously, you messaged me, you unfortunately lost the account. Walk us through, how you feel when you lost the account and how you're gonna handle, like what is your like plan now that that happened?
Yeah. So it was, the biggest piece of advice I could give anyone would be, whatever is going on in your life, in your surroundings, it will transition into your trading. So the time that what was going on was, my daughter, she ended up in A&E. She's fine. She's really young, and she just had an accident at home, and it was that period of time. Also, we were trying to move house, and we lost the house that we really wanted to get. And what else happened? Something else happened. I can't remember now. But it was just a combination of all those things all at once. And I remember I was floating. I think I was floating about $11,000, $12,000, and the way it was just continually breaking structure. It was US 30. And that's the other thing. Like I don't really trade indices, but it was because of how the economy is at the minute. I saw a potential to kind of benefit from that. So it was like I was floating in profit. I had it on the monitor, and I was cooking tea for the family, and I thought, I was at risk free. I'll leave it, and I just kind of forgot about it for the evening. I woke up in the morning, seen that I'd been stopped out, obviously, so it wasn't all bad, but I feel like that was then the catalyst for the downfall, because I was in such disbelief that I'd been stopped out because the trade was running so well. And this was off the back of having such a great, probably one of the best 2 or 3 trading months that I'd had ever. And I think it was a combination of that period and what that had happened with those trades and what was going on in my life. And I just fogged out. I really did. It was the next day I started doing the craziest things I had never done before. Like I started scalping USA. I,
Oh,
I think it was like I'd slapped the market for a couple of months, and now I was getting slapped back double time. And I was almost in disbelief what was happening. And I was so, as humans, we're programmed not to lose. And I was just in such disbelief of what was happening. I was like, I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong with this trade. And it was literally, it was just, everything just went downhill. Like I said, I'm fortunate that I've got funding from other prop firms, but this account meant the most to me because of what I'd achieved from it, and it was the most funding that I had acquired. So yeah, it was I pretty I wouldn't say I had a breakdown, but I consulted a partner, and she kind of said, you set out what you achieved for you paid for the wedding, come on, like you're a good trader, and that's like I think as well. If you can have a partner who's that supportive because trading is a passion for me now. Over the years, it's just grown into something that I can't see not being in my life anymore. And yeah, it was big knock for me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a real eye opener to realise that hang on, you're not invincible. You're just a very very small fish in a massive pond, and you're no bigger or better than anybody else.
Yeah, I think honestly that was great, man. I mean, having a supportive partner, a supportive family, or just friends or whatever is extremely important, and that's why I encourage anybody in here, that maybe doesn't have a support system right now when it comes to trading or your goals when it comes to making money. I would definitely try to get in touch with people inside of this group because everyone here, I think what's one of the coolest things is everyone here believes that they can obviously achieve these goals when it comes to trading, when it comes to increasing their skill set. And so I definitely encourage people to connect with others inside of the community. I know for myself, when I first started trading and just getting into business, I didn't have a great support system, and that definitely hurt myself. And I know a lot of people out there experience the same thing. So I think it's really positive that you have that, and it's encouraging that this person is wants you to celebrate at the end of the day what you had achieved. And that's exactly what I said to you as well, because
Sure,
you had
yeah.
messaged me and you're like, oh, I lost the account, mate, and I'm not feeling good about it. And I'm like, you're in the 5% of people they've gotten an account, they've gotten paid, they've been able to utilize it for a real life event, so it's impacted their life. You're within the top traders, not only in our company and other companies as well. People think that the top people are only the guy, in FTMO that gets paid out 500K, or the girl that got paid out 150K with us. Like the people who get paid out $800 a week for several weeks in a row, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's at the end of the day impacting their life, and they're leveraging a skill. There are definitely people that are, killing it. So I think that definitely should change the conception. I mean, you said that the payout you got was over 5 figures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would imagine for most people, especially, you're in the UK, obviously in the US, I mean, 5 figures for some people is like 20% of their yearly salary. For other people, it's a lot more. For some people, maybe it's just 1 month of your salary, but even then, it's like getting an extra bonus for the year.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually it happened at a good time, I think, because I think now on GBP USD was near enough running 1.03, so it was like usually pounds, obviously way higher, and you could get more. We could get more dollars for the pound, but now it's kind of level. So it was like you get like the same. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, that being said as well, what's your current job? Like, you have a day job right now, and what is it?
Yeah, yeah. So I have my own business. So it's a property maintenance business. I have myself, and then I've got like two other subcontractors, sometimes three, that kind of drop in and out. And so we mainly do stuff, renovations and extensions on property and things like that. So that's kind of, it takes up a lot of my time. Hence why I've kind of adopted the swing style trading now. It's hard to fit the trading in, but like I say, the kind of goal going forward is I would like to eventually, because I'm on the tools, I'm working kind of project manager at the same time. It's juggling that and trading and stuff. So I eventually want to be in a position where I can slowly peel away, be more of a hands-off kind of role, and maybe take on people full time. But it's then trying to find the trustworthy people and who you can rely on and things like that. So then I can then put more of my focus onto trading.
Somebody asked, you don't do any education when it comes to trading, right? You said you had a few buddies that trade as well. Do you have anything that people could go to in the form of education online or anything?
Not as such, no. But I mean, it's kind of I've been sort of, again. That's going to be another thing that potentially I look to in the future. I want to build a case for myself, and that I'm proud. Like I'm not proud. Like I'm proud now, obviously, what I've done. But I want to showcase something a bit more grander that I can give people a bit more kind of, they can kind of come to me and say, oh, I need help with this, I need help with that, and I can show them, I can give them the guidance that they need and have proof going forward. So I don't, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of not great things that are said about the forex industry. It is overshadowed by a lot of bad things, but yeah, in the future, I do look to kind of bring something of value, and certainly trying to, like, even by just talking to people, if they need, like I said, like you said earlier, it is a real lonely thing trading. Like, some people don't have a support system, some people just have themselves. I was lucky with, I got a well supported family around me. What is lacking, it's not so much lacking now, but when I first started, was having a mentor that you could go to, and real a mindset thing. It was always, there was technicals that you could go to and you could learn and stuff. And yes, some do offer psychology and stuff like that, but I really think, like, what has happened, like obviously with me losing the account and stuff, the fact how important you need to get your mind right.
That being said, obviously you're dealing with some adversity with losing the account, although you do have some other funded accounts. What is an
Yeah.
example? What is an example of some other adversity that you've dealt with trading that's not related to, losing an account? For example, a situation with myself or a situation in general could be you floating in profits, you're not closing out those profits, then trying to figure out why didn't you close out those profits. Like, it's kind of an emotional thing that you have to work through. So it's like, what are some obstacles that you face, in trading that you've had to kind of figure out how to overcome?
Yeah, I think it was really like, I'm trying to work out what kind of trading I wanted to do, and the style I wanted to do. I am a risk taker, and the thing is I kind of, it's a difficult one, because in trading, obviously every trade is a risk, but what is important, and you need to kind of learn to curb the habits of not. I'm really a strong-headed person coming from business. You would think that I would adopt the same business concepts that I do in outside of trading, into trading, which wasn't the case, which is totally the wrong way to go about it. So it's taken me. But that's another reason, the psychology behind trading. It's really does mess with your head sometimes. So I've looked at now seeing trading as a business, like, your losses are your expenses. Your winnable trades are obviously your business income, and it's just about balancing the sheets in the same way you do, because there's no issues with the other business I have. That's all maintained and kind of self-sufficient in its own right. So I need to adopt and bring those same values over to trading.
Yeah, this is a great point. I've always, for Forex League, our education company, our slogan has always been treat trading like a business. Because, like you said, I mean, everyone would love to start a company and then literally have to spend no money and you just make a shit ton of money, right? But
Yeah.
that's not the reality, especially when you're trying to scale up a company, hire people, whatnot. There are always going to be costs, and sometimes those costs can become exponential because of external factors that you have no control over, conditions with the market, so on and so on. So when it comes to trading, I mean, at the end of the day, if what I would recommend anybody to do would be to start an LLC. I mean, this is obviously my advice for someone more in the US, but you could translate this to anywhere else. I would start an LLC, for trading only. That's the only thing that would be going on in the LLC. Every challenge purchased, I wouldn't use credit. I would have money behind this, but I would use a credit card to purchase the challenges and then pay off the credit card right away, just so you accumulate points. And then every challenge you lose can be written off, right? So
Yeah.
every challenge you lose, you write it off. So over the course of the year, this is a very good example, and this is how you could save a lot of money with this. Let's say that Dan spent $30,000 throughout 2022 on challenges, right? And then Dan gets 60,000 in payouts, right? So Dan put up $30,000. He ended up with $60,000 in payouts. He netted $30,000, in profit for that year. Well, guess what? On that profit that you made, that $30,000, you're going to then get taxed, right? Now, if you have those 30K, in expenses, right? You have 30K in expenses, you can actually leverage that to actually do a write-off, right, on the profits that you actually made, with the company. So then you can go ahead and you can leverage the $30,000. I believe you would actually get taxed on you get taxed on your net profit. So you get taxed on that 30K, and then you could use that as a write-off. So say you wrote off and said, oh, I wrote off $30,000. You can then technically use that to like wash out what you would then owe in taxes on that $30,000. Now, what is the savings in that? So basically, if that 30K that you spend ends up being a write-off, your tax liability actually goes from 30K to zero. And then in the US, you would have paid 35% on that 30K. So you would have actually paid like, I don't know, $9,000, right, on that 30,000. You're then getting that $9,000 back in your pocket. So it's almost like you're getting a discount on all of the challenges that you purchased. Almost like, oh, you're earning back $9,000 that you otherwise would have had to pay. So I would definitely, guys, leverage having an LLC. Talk to an accountant, obviously, about all of this. But these challenges should be write-offs. And I think that's another positive about prop trading is the fact that you can do this. But I like that you mentioned that because people really need to realize that losses are going to be a part of any business.
Yeah, for sure. You can't get away from it. Nobody in this right mind has 100% win rate, so as I do some with them.
No, yeah, no one's gonna have a 100% hit rate. You're exactly correct. We're gonna finish off the session, so we're gonna do some rapid fire questions. We've got first question. What are your future goals?
Future goals, I want to achieve over £1 million in funding.
£1 million in funding. All right. Next question. How many trades do you take on average per week?
5 to 10.
5 to 10. How many years have you actively been trading?
6.
When did you first get funded? After what year?
It was 2019.
How much risk are you taking per trade when you pass?
0.5%.
What inspired you to get into trading?
Just to have the chance to sort of trade anywhere in the world.
Are you self-taught trader?
No.
Do you journal your trades at all?
Yes.
And how many pairs do you trade?
2.
All right, that's pretty much it for the rapid fire questions, guys. We went through about 5 there. Really appreciate you hopping on, Dan. Obviously, I wish you the success, in the future. And if you need anything, reach out to us. I'm going to be sending you some swag in the mail. So that'll be coming soon. We're going to close off the AMA for today because I got to go watch this dog that's probably pissing all over my apartment right now. But yeah, Dan, really appreciate you hopping on again and everybody taking the time on this Sunday. And best of luck to all you guys. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, cheers. Thank you.